Good morning and welcome to Nigeria Now, showing on your digital first Pan-African News Network 2S Television. My name is Merciful Ajinamo. Joining us to analyze some stories this morning is Adebayo Fajimi. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
We have 4 stories, newspapers this morning. Let's begin from the Daily Trust newspaper. The banner headline there says National Assembly members, others prone to assassination, kidnapping. That's coming from DSS. We have 3 riders. The first alleges plots to recruit students for banditry, violent protest. The second says the neglected will come to National Assembly and attackers, coming from Senator Naobushi. And then reps are saying Zamfara Katsina bandits now in Plateau, Taraba State. That can be found on page 5 of the Daily Trust. Just on top of that story, we see UK lifts ban on Nigeria as UAE gives 7 slots to airpeace. How do you feel about this update? And looking at some days ago, we spoke about this story, and we spoke about the retaliatory efforts from the federal government and the effect on our relationship. But now we are seeing that UK has lifted the ban. What's your take on the update?
Yeah, it's a very good one, and like I would say, in international diplomacy, there is what we call reciprocity. So
yes, mutual.
Yes,
relationship.
so it is very good because even if you look at this issue from in the first place, we discovered that it is this variant is not from Nigeria. It was brought from the UK, and even the UK has reported a death that's relating to that particular variant, and we have not even recorded one. So I think it is normal. So rather than just being sentiment or putting sentiment, on the development, we should rather look at how we can better manage this thing mutually. In such a way that the less privileged country, will not suffer, and even those in developed world, because it is a global issue. So it is not about Africa. It is all around. It is all across the world. So I think it's a good thing, and they should, try to deepen, this very good approach, such that it enhance, development, and at the end of the day, so we help one another or each other, and everybody lives peacefully.
Okay. Still on that newspaper, we see Tinubu is saying on the issue of 2023 elections, I won't turn down calls for presidency. That can be found on page 12. Of the Daily Trust newspaper. And then Finance Ministry customs fight over autonomy. Then we see a story underneath picture of the day there where we see people holding placards and cardboard papers, and that's insecurity. Protests in Abuja, Katsina as Masari elders meet Buhari. Of course, that can be found on page 6. We can get another story there. Man with 59 wives, 300 children dies in Enugu State, and that can be found on page 33. Then bandits kill 6, abduct dozens on Kaduna Zaria Road. That can be found on page 4. Despite health risks, FCT butchers still use tires to process meat. That can be found on page 24 of the Daily Trust. We move over to the Nigerian News Direct newspaper, and the banner headline there is unknown terms. Reps approve $5.8 billion infrastructure loan request. That can be found on page 3. And the writer says, as Nigeria's public debt rise to 38 trillion naira in third quarter. And then former LCCI DG says federal government needs to cut expenditure, reduce cost of governance. We can get that story on the Nigerian News Direct page 3. And now account maintenance, Access Bank Zenith orders earn 88.9 billion naira in 9 months. We can get that on page 14. NJI boss says judiciary must take responsibility over 4.4 trillion naira AMCON debt. And then we can get another story on page 2 that says Abdulrazak unveils Kwara Resident Agency CAD project. And underneath the picture of the day there, Damaturu meeting, Northeast governors beg federal government to improve security power supply in sub-region. We can get that on page 21. Northeast governors beg federal government to improve security power supply in sub-region. Just in that order, security and power supply, the Northeast governors are begging federal government. And on the previous story that we saw, DSS saying National Assembly members, others prone to assassination, kidnapping. These are issues of insecurity. Where do you think we are now as Nigeria in terms of solving this issue of insecurity? Even looking at the year is coming to an end.
We are in a very bad and terrible, pathetic situation. No doubt about that. And you know, it really portends that, you know, nobody is safe. Initially, we think it is just an average man, you know, average citizens who are, you know, bearing the
prone to attacks.
So, but now it has morphed or metamorphosed into, you know, even, you know,
dignitaries
to the elite, and we have seen a couple of, you know, the elite being killed by bandits. So I think the intelligence, you know, gathered by DSS is a good one. And I think it also betokens that they also strengthen the security, you know, the security architecture. But at the same time, the politicians, our policy makers, should know that where we are today is as a result of the problem we refused to solve yesterday. Because before, they think it is just an average man, average citizens who have the problem. But now it is, you know, it is staring at them in the face, and that shows that they are no longer safe. And for us to be able to curtail this, we should rather retrace the, you know, the source of the problem and begin to take drastic approach into governance. Because when people do not have education, they are jobless, you know, they feel as if they are not part of the system. Of course, they will retaliate. Somebody who is highly educated, who has a good job, you know, who have a sense, you know, of who have a sense of citizenship, responsibility as a citizen, we never go to that extent and just say the next thing for me is just be carrying sophisticated weapon and be wasting lives for no reason. So it is in two ways. The DSS and all other security agencies should please, because we cannot afford to just be losing lives just like that. But at the same time, our policymakers, our politicians should take decisive steps to ensure that, you know, they take the issue and the work of governance so seriously, so that everybody benefits. I think that's the way to go. Okay,
and still on that newspaper, we see responsible gold mining. We're ready for business, Oyetola declares, and on page 21, marriage certificates obtained at Ikoyi registry are legal. That's coming from federal government. Of course, that's on page 21. On a lighter note, on this issue of marriage certificate, we did see some celebrities, you know, come out looking at the news that, you know, was up yesterday, and people said their marriages were not legal. Yes, so celebrities came up and started asking their spouses on a lighter note, and are you sure we are not in an illegal relationship? And I'm like, okay, if you were married and your marriage was carried out at Ikoyi registry, and going by the news you heard yesterday, what would be your first reaction as a husbandman?
Well, the one would not feel that very happy, but the permanent secretary of Ministry of Interior, you know, has issued a press release yesterday, you know, countering, you know, all the allegations and whatever that is going on the social media, that no, whatever you do at that registry is legal. And he cited, I think, about 2 cases, you know, you know, to back up the point. And so I don't think there's an issue on that, because as far as, you know, the ministry in charge, you know, has come out and said, no, this is not real. So I don't think we have any problem with that.
Before that came out, what was your reaction? That's what I'm asking. If you were married and you had a wife and then you carried out your marriage at this court, this registry, what would be your first reaction?
Well, I will not. I won't feel good. You know, okay. I will feel disappointed. I will feel disappointed because you know that the kind of, you know, you are into is not legal. So of course, you will feel disappointed. But thank God that
yes, it has not been corrected. All right. Still on the Nigerian News Direct on page 13, we see AFDB approves $210 million loan to unlock agriculture sector potential. That can be found on page 13. On the Blueprint newspaper, the banner headline there says, lawmakers, politicians, now kidnappers, assassins target. Of course, we've spoken about that story. We can get more details on page 13 and page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. On the very top there, we see red list, diplomatic row averted as UK delists Nigeria. 10 others. Of course, we've spoken about that already. And then the writer says UAE reverses self, gives airpeace 7 slots at Dubai airport. We can get all that news, of course, good news, on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper. And still talking about 2023 general elections, Tinubu speaks up, says, I won't turn down calls to contest. PFN is saying no room for Muslim ticket. And then we can get on page 7. Steer clear of revenue collection, Finance Minister warns RMAFC. We can get out on page 23. We have all the headlines we can get from the Blueprint newspaper and other newspapers. Just make sure that you're very much updated on happenings in Nigeria and of course across Africa. And how do you do that? You have to connect with us on our website www.tostvnetwork.com. Our social media platforms are right there on the screen for you to follow and stay updated on happenings in Nigeria and of course across Africa. Thank you again for joining us on Nigeria Now this day. My name is Merciful Ajinabo. Stay safe and see you tomorrow.